Mpumalanga Forest Gravel Rally Roads. The name of the game for the middle part of the rally season. It's also this part of the season that can see a driver stake his claim on championship glory or throw it all away. So far, it's been a two-horse race between the BP Ultimate Polo of defending champion Hergen Fecken and the Castrol Toyota Auris of challenger Johnny Gemmell. But who will emerge victorious from the daunting Mpumalanga forests? This is the 2009 Sasol South African Rally. After 3 rounds of the Sasol South African Rally Championship, Johnny Gemmell leads the way with 69 points. Fecken's 4-second loss on the Sasol also translated into a 4-point deficit, while Jan Habig is still within striking distance of his 7th driver's title. Charles Wilken occupies 4th ahead of the S2000 machines of Cronje, Hubert, Kuhn and Rueda.
We stayed in Mpumalanga for round 4 of the championship, but we moved to the town of Ermelo and these dirt stages around Warburton and Panbult for this, the Rally of South Africa.
The Rally of South Africa has its base and headquarters at Ermelo Toyota, from where the teams will start and finish their adventure each day. But the real action will take place around 70 kilometers east of Ermelo. Traditionally, these stages are rough and have a reputation of being real car breakers, so danger lurks around every corner and places a real emphasis on the phrase, to finish first, you must first finish. The Rally of South Africa also provides the ultimate endurance test, as it is host to the infamous Jessie Vale stage, at 60 kilometers, the longest stage of the entire championship. With 2 wins from 3 events, Johnny Gemmell is leading the current title chase and will undoubtedly have his sights on the overall championship.
You know, we got off to a good start the first 3 events. Now, this one's quite a tricky event. We've got a 60k this afternoon, so that's going to be quite a decisive moment in this event.
Fecken is only 4 points behind his rival, but during the Sasol, the defending champion lost out in a straight fight. So what will it take to prevent it from happening again?
Yeah, on the last rally, he beat me by 4 seconds, so I guess I'll have to go 4 seconds quicker than last time.
Jan Habig is 3rd on the points log, but the multiple champion is still chasing his first victory of the season. Will it happen on the Rally of South Africa?
Speak to me at the end.
The previous 2 events saw Mark Cronje finish in 4th and 3rd positions respectively. So where will he finish this time round?
Yeah, look, we're trying to progress our way up, and we had a good start to our season and a bit of a wake-up call. So we've been trying to take it one step at a time.
Enzo Kuhn has had a slow start to his season, but the Cape Town businessman won the overall championship in 2006 and therefore knows what it takes.
I do, and we're still in the same car, so I think we've got a good winning concept. We've got to make sure that we bring it to the end.
The word luck and the name Jean-Pierre Damso have not been kind to each other this year. Damso has failed to finish on all 3 events so far this season, something which he'll be desperate to change.
It's a long rally, and you know, anything can happen on this event. It's tough. I've got a major stage today, so we need to just get through today and then plan it tomorrow. What we're going to do.
Tian Hubert has only ever done 3 events in the top S2000 class, but 3 solid points finishes sees him 6th overall on the championship standings. Fernando Rueda is now getting used to his team total machine and will be looking for a good result. While Jaapie van Niekerk has the speed and ability to upset some of the factory drivers. Rally sisters Megan and Lola Verlaque also return from their African Rally Championship adventures for another outing on South African soil. With a perfect run of 3 out of 3 wins so far, Charles Wilken is not only the leading production car driver, but also 4th on the overall points table.
It's been a good season for us so far. We've had little issues so far, and the car's getting better rally by rally, so hopefully we can achieve good results to the end of the year.
Wilken's closest rival is Visser Du Plessis in his similar Pertec machine.
But we're still in with a realistic chance, and we're gonna try now.
Chad Coetzee with former rally winner Etienne Lawrence, now reading the pace notes from the passenger seat of the SAC truck Subaru, is fresh from his first ever production car podium. So also expect this battle to be a close one. The Rally of South Africa will consist of 13 special stages. The total distance will be 610 kilometers, of which 198 kilometers will be against the stopwatch, including the 60 kilometers of Jessie Vale. Once again, South Africa's 10 fastest drivers have to draw for their starting positions. No one wants to be the first over virgin rally roads, and on this event, it was Marc Cronje. He was followed by JP Damso and Enzo Kuhn. Hergen Fecken drew number 4, ahead of teammate Jan Habib and championship leader Johnny Gemmel. To add to the already tough challenge that is the Rally of South Africa, the heavens opened during the days leading up to the event, turning the 13 stages into a very slippery affair.
We don't know what to expect.
I think a lot of punctures.
One little slip in the wrong place and in trouble, eh?
Rally teams normally have no choice but to drive on so-called dry tyres, but with conditions like these, the organisers can declare the event a wet rally, allowing the teams to also make use of special wet weather tyres. These wets, as they are known, are somewhat narrower than dry tyres to cut through the mud and get grip from the harder surface underneath. They also have a different tread pattern as well as a different rubber compound. So it should be an easy choice then, as wets almost always provide better traction than dry tyres. But there's one serious downside. Wets are soft and are extremely susceptible to punctures, making them a very risky choice. Stage 1, or Rincon, just outside Warburton, stretches over 16 kilometers and is immediately followed by the 18-kilometer test of Busby. Endurance and reliability come into play right away, as the crews will have no chance to service their cars in between. Using wet tyres is now a gamble, as a puncture on stage 1 could already bring an end to any chance of competing for rally glory.
Marc Cronje and Robert Paisley were the first ones to find out just how slippery the conditions were going to be. Cronje also opted to take a gamble by fitting the Castrol Toyota Auris with wet tyres for this loop of stages. But did it pay off?
And caution left 4, right 3 at end of 3. Caution left 4, caution left 4, right 3. 90, good. Right 4, left 5. Right 4, left 5 here. 180, turn right 80 at the trees.
Look, I'm glad I've gone with the wets, but I don't know. It's a tricky one because there's a lot of wet patches out there.
Cronje blasted out of the blocks and straight into the rally lead with the fastest time on stage 1. And on stage 2, his speed was even more breathtaking. The Castrol Toyota Auris crossed the flying finish of the 18-kilometer stage 2 in a time of just 13 minutes and 41 seconds.
No, it's wet, but I'm enjoying it, eh? Very tricky. You make a mistake here, you bleed.
The last rally that JP Damso managed to finish was the Swartland Rally near the end of 2008, which he won. Conditions were similar, so Damso knows a thing or two about mud and slippery surfaces. Damso and Andre Vermeulen also opted for wet weather tyres in their quest to record their first finish of 2009. The Total Evolution Toyota Runex completed both stages 1 and 2 in respectable times, but already found themselves 52 seconds behind the leader Cronje. After having an indifferent start to his season, 2006 champion Enzo Kuhn was eager to get his 2009 campaign underway. Kuhn is normally a very good strategist, and as with Cronje and Damso, he also decided to take the risk of running on wet tyres. It paid off, as on stage 1, the BP Ultimate Polo crossed the flying finish in a time of 11 minutes and 24 seconds, just 2 seconds slower than Cronje's fastest time.
Wet tires, definitely.
So far, wet weather tyres seemed like the way to go, but on stage 2, disaster struck. The BP Ultimate Polo was the first to fall prey to the wet weather tyre curse, got a puncture, lost around 5.5 minutes, and every chance of competing for Rally of South Africa honours.
10 Ks. Dip and crest mid into turn left 8. Turn left 8. I told you that. I told we had 15 Ks to go a long time ago. Into left 8. into stay right now. Stay. Oh, we lost so much time now.
Yeah, it was the right tyre, but we unfortunately got a front flat, so we had to stop the chase.
Not willing to take any risks so early on, defending champions Harrigan Fecken and Pierre Harries tackled this first loop of stages on dry weather tyres. The BP Ultimate Polo was fast as always, but not fast enough. Fecken lost 15 seconds to rally leader Cronje on stage 1.
We're the first car that's going through without wets on, so it was quite slippery, and I'm actually quite surprised by the time. I thought we could do much more.
A 15-second deficit soon became 33 seconds as Fecken lost another 18 seconds on stage 2.
Narrow and rough. 4.5 narrow and rough. 80 up.
The Polo found the muddy patches slippery.
Into jump. Long left 4. 150. Right 1 over rock.
We were moving quite hard, but Pierre says it's not bad for an old man with flu, so he wasn't that impressed.
With 13 drivers and navigators titles between them, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd have seen slippery conditions before, but also decided not to gamble with wet weather tyres. The BP Ultimate Polo crossed the stage 1 flying finish in a time of 11 minutes and 38 seconds, just 1 second slower than Fecken, but it was still 16 full seconds slower than leader Cronje. Habig also completed stage 2 in a respectable and safe time, but found himself a full 48 seconds from the rally lead.
It's gone a bit better if we use the weights, but you know, we don't know what the next stage is doing.
So far, the wet weather tyre gamble has paid off for Cronje and Damso, while it definitely did not for King. Championship leaders Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh were not going to take that risk, and like Fecken and Habig, opted for the safer dry tyres. Although Gemmel lost around the same amount of time to his Castrol Toyota teammate Cronje, his times over stages 1 and 2 were still very competitive. Gemmel completed these 2 tricky stages in 3rd place. The turbo-breathing Cecil Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich was the first production car to face the slippery stages around Warburton. Wilken has a commanding lead in the production car championship and also had his sights set on another solid finish on dry weather tyres. The Subaru set the production car benchmark time of 11 minutes and 50 seconds on stage 1 and a time of 14 minutes 54 seconds on stage 2.
Now 100, longest right 4, tightens eventually to a 6. There's the 6, intermediate, fork left 9, very narrow left 9. Go, 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 there it is.
Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were the 8th crew to cover the muddy rally roads in their new Africa Developments Toyota Runx. Van Niekerk is improving on every event while mixing it up with the factory teams, and a time of 11 minutes and 39 seconds on stage 1 again placed him right in the thick of things. But it was short-lived, as early on in stage 2, things turned for the worse.
And right 5.
Ach nee man, my toch. Jy moet gou stoot.
The Runx wouldn't go into reverse and caused Van Niekerk to lose more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got stuck in the mud. We couldn't get out. And eventually we got out, but you know, we lost 10 minutes.
The Pertex Subaru of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman is the only other real challenger to Wilken's production car crown. Du Plessis opened his account with a time of 11 minutes and 53 seconds, or 3 seconds slower than the time set by Wilken. But on stage 2, it all went wrong for the former production car champion. The Pertex Subaru slid a touch wide in one of the many slippery corners and got stuck. It was the end of their challenge as the mud claimed yet another victim. This is Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey's 4th event behind the wheel of the Team Total Evolution Toyota Runx, but undoubtedly the first time that he had to face such tricky conditions in an S2000 machine. The Spaniard drove safely to complete both stages in a respectable 6th position overall.
It's early days on the Rally of South Africa, but so far the slippery and muddy conditions have been kind to Marc Cronje, who opened up a massive 33-second lead in just 34 kilometers. Fecken is ahead of Gemmel and Habig, while names like Kuhn, Van Niekerk and Du Plessis have already disappeared from the leaderboard. After the break, the remaining crews tackle the longest stage in South African rallying. Will the car survive it? Will someone fall off? Or will the outcome of the rally be decided in one single stage? The stages are slippery, and the gamble to run on wet weather tyres meant the end of the road for some, while it paid off for others. Marc Cronje drove brilliantly to catch the competition off guard and has a comfortable 33-second lead.
Got lucky a couple of times. I think we made the right tyre choice, and the other guys are struggling a bit. They went a bit too conservative. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we've still got a long way to go.
We've only had 2 stages and already a few casualties, and now the guys will have to go and face the toughest challenge in South African rallying. Stage 3 of Jessyville is 60 kilometers long, which means that the guys will not only have to prepare the cars mechanically, but the drivers will also have to prepare themselves mentally.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mental thing, I think. You know, you just have to start pushing right from the start.
Yeah, I think what one needs to do is try and keep your concentration up.
Well, usually it's difficult to find the right pace. You know, if you go too quick, you might damage the car. If you go too slow, you're going to lose a lot of time.
You just got to go, man. The oaks are so close. So if you wait a little bit, it's too late.
And this is why. At 60 kilometers, Jessyville is by far the longest single stage in South African rallying. In 2008, Hergen Fecken dominated the stage and proved that the leader after Jessyville will be favourite to win the entire event. So there's a lot riding on the outcome of this next 60 kilometers.
Marc Cronje and Robert Paisley would have loved to add a bit more time to their already comfortable 33-second lead, but the Castrol Toyota Young Gun does not have fond memories of Jessyville. A problem with his gearbox halted his 2008 challenge, and the same fate was about to strike again. After 35 of the 60 kilometers, a small component in the French-built Sadif gearbox broke, leaving the Urus stuck in 5th gear.
Maximum crest. What's the gears? Yeah. Maybe it's that thing that shifted again. Maximum crest, mid, left 1 here. Something's come off. 18, left 7 into caution, right line tight. It doesn't want to change. And left 5. And I nursed it, Robert. No, it didn't go fast down there. There was nothing wrong.
Cronje dropped around 4 minutes and out of the lead.
We had a great run, but we've got a problem with the gear lever. Oh.
Yeah, don't worry.
I don't know if I'm going to get out of here.
So far, JP Dancer and Andre Vermeulen have had a season to forget, with pure bad luck preventing them from reaching the end in any of the previous 3 rallies. But this time, the Total Evolution team was determined to change their luck around. Damso survived Jessyville and set a benchmark time of 40 minutes and 16 seconds. It seems like Lady Luck has decided to latch onto the BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson. Not only did Keen puncture a wheel on stage 2, but the wheel nut got stuck, wasting even more valuable time. On Jessyville, a rare wrong slot cost the pair a further 2 minutes and forced them to finish the day in an unaccustomed 11th overall, around 8 minutes behind the overnight leaders.
I don't know where we are, Enzo. Left 2 rough and right 2. No, we're not on the wrong road, Enzo. We're completely on the wrong road here.
We had a wrong slot and we lost another 2, so but it looks like there's some kind of a problem here.
With Cronje out of the equation, for now anyway, it was time for Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris to put the hammer down. Like the great drivers of the past, Fecken is extremely good in targeting specific stages in which to launch his attack. In 2008, he dominated proceedings through Jessyville, and 2009 would be no different. The BP Ultimate Polo blasted through the 60 kilometers in a stage-winning time of just 38 minutes and 46 seconds, again making Jessyville his own and taking command of the rally.
Into left 7 over lock. Into left 2. Water splash. Turn off right 9. 100 crest mid.
Hard work.
That's not pushing, eh? We're pushing very hard.
On stages like these, rallies are often won or lost. This is something that Jan Hudwig and Douglas Judd know all too well. the BP Ultimate Polo pushed hard on Jezebel, entertained the crowds as only they know how, and crossed the flying finish in a time of 39 minutes and 5 seconds. It was fast, but still 19 seconds slower than Vector. Championship point leaders Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh were the next ones to try and improve on their current third position. A large deficit after day 1 will almost be impossible to erase on day 2, so the Castrol Toyota Auris pushed hard, but a puncture forced him to stop and change the flat tire. 2 minutes later, the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich flew past the stricken Auris. And then Gemmell got going again. With Gemmell now chasing the leading production car in the stage, one couldn't help but to remember an incident during the 2008 VW rally when this happened. The Castrol Toyota struck the Subaru while forcing its way through. Although Wilken was pushing hard, he knew that the S2000 machine is much faster, and when the Castrol Toyota Auris appeared in their rearview mirror, the production car champions pulled over to let Gemmell pass. Gemmell reached the end of Jezebel, but nearly 3 minutes were lost.
No, he let us pass there. We had a flat, we had to stop and change the wheel.
A short while later, Wilken also appeared at the end of Jezebel, setting the 6th fastest overall time in the process.
Johnny stopped, and as he got going again, we pulled over a bit later for him to pass, and just looked after the car.
After losing around 10 minutes on stage 2, Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton had very little to lose in their new Africa Developments Toyota Runnix. Van Niekerk was on a charge back up the leaderboard and flew through Jezebel in a time of 40 minutes and 8 seconds to set the 3rd fastest time of all. The Total Evolution Toyota Runnix of Fernando Rueda and Kobus Frey was the next car into Jezebel, and as with so many times before, Jezebel had the final say. For the 2nd time this year, the Spaniard was left without any gears.
This is how people actually lose rallies. When you get out of rallies, there is the normal spring, and that's the spring that came out of my gearbox. As you can see, all it's done is collapse by 5 millimeters. The gearbox was perfectly fine. Gearbox only got neutrals.
Traditionally, the Rally of South Africa is tough on rally cars with a high attrition rate. And so far this year's been no different. Names like Kuhn, Van Niekerk, Du Plessis and now also Rueda are already missing from the top of the leaderboard. But it does provide an opportunity for more gravel road warriors to chase good results and to feature near the top of the leaderboard.
Although not on rally-winning pace yet, Thien Joubert and Henny Boerters are having a dream season in their debut year in the S2000 Salom Group VW Polo. Joubert has finished every event so far this season, and after surviving day 1 of the tough Rally of South Africa, he was on course to repeat his previous performances. Not only did Joubert survive day 1, but he also set the 5th fastest time over Jezebel and completed the day in a career-best 5th position overall. Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer missed the rally earlier this year due to budget constraints, but the unsponsored Toyota Runnix was back on the stages of the Rally of South Africa. Ryan is still in a battle with himself to get his confidence back after a serious accident in Port Elizabeth last year and another one just 2 events later, and now found himself in a safe 8th position overall after the 3 stages on day 1. South Africa's very own rally chicks or sisters Lola and Megan Verlaak had a rare appearance in the Sasol South African Rally Championship. For 2009, the siblings have their sights set on the African Championship, but still decided to enter the S2000 Volkswagen Polo. Verlaak had a number of stalls, but survived the day to finish in 14th position overall.
After only 3 stages, but nearly half of the rally distance something of the past, Hergen Fecken once again takes control of the event. Teammate Jan Hubik is second, but 34 seconds back, followed by JP Damso. Charles Wilken is the only production car left in the field and in 4th ahead of Thien Joubert. Jezebel Troubles dropped both Castrol Toyotas down into 6th and 7th positions respectively.
Behind the leading S2000 and M4 machines, South Africa's up-and-coming drivers were displaying their talents while involved in their own fierce battles for respective class honours. Class A7 for front-wheel drive rally cars with an engine capacity of 2 litres is one of the last steps before entering the big time. These cars are not much slower than S2000 machines, although having only front-wheel drive proved to be a big disadvantage on these slippery stages. Northern Region's rally champions Schalk Burger Jr. and Armand de Tooy won the last outing in their USN Spike Energy Green Toyota Corolla, but failed to finish the first day of the Rally of South Africa. The Corolla broke a suspension component in stage 2, ending their quest for another Class A7 win. Michael Otto is also a former regional rally champion, but unfortunately for Otto and navigator Tommy de Tooy, their run of bad luck continued in the Mpumalanga forests. The Liqui-Moly Toyota Corolla ran out of fuel on the long Jessievale stage, ending their Rally of South Africa challenge. Coming into this event, Special Vehicles off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison and navigator Alvin Coetzee were tied for the Class A7 championship, thanks to a consistent season so far. But unfortunately for the Team Motorrad Toyota Runnix crew, trouble struck early on in stage 3.
That's why I had to plug it out, and we've got a fuel leaking.
Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis are the current and defending Class A7 champions, but failed to finish a single rally up to now. The Team Total Evolution squad was desperate to turn their season around and started well by setting very competitive stage times. De Wit has had very little time behind the wheel this season, but still managed to finish a tough day one, just 18 seconds behind the class leaders and in 10th position overall. That lead belonged to the Pan RC's Volkswagen Polo of Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke. Wilken won his class on the first 2 rallies of 2009, but crashed out of the previous round, so the talented youngster was eager to return to his winning ways. Wilken not only led Class A7, but drove rapidly to also occupy 9th on the overall leaderboard. Class A6 for front-wheel drive cars up to 2 litres is a battlefield for a trio of Team Total Evolution Toyotas. Craig Trott is a Class A6 veteran and multiple class champion. Mohamed Musa is an up-and-coming rally star and a pace setter so far this season. And Rodney Versaghi is a multiple Class N3 champion. Trott and Robbie Coetzee have proved that you don't have to win every stage or rally to become a champion. And once again, Trott drove consistently to reach the end of a tough day one, albeit more than 2 minutes behind the class lead. Rodney Versaghi and Kellen Swan were driving hard as always. It is Versaghi's first year behind the wheel of the Class A6 Runnix after upgrading from his Class N3 Runnix at the start of this season. Versaghi is also a serious contender for Class A6 honours, but found himself more than a minute behind the class leader. And that lead belonged to none other than Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin. Musa is rising rapidly through the ranks thanks to the combination of his sheer speed and talent, as well as the superior performance of the Total Evolution Aurus. So far this season, that combination has been the one to beat, and on the opening 3 stages of the Rally of South Africa, this trend continued with Musa setting a class pace on all 3. Class A5 for City Golfs and Toyota Yaris's is the first step on the long rally ladder, and therefore filled with young talent. They start them young in this class, like 16-year-old Cape Townian Ashley Haig Smith. He doesn't even have a legal driver's license yet, but together with Hilton Orphy in the hot seat, even managed to win the first stage in their Team the Act Toyota Yaris. Vusi Mabanga and Sean Fisser in their Total Evolution Yaris were fresh from their maiden class win on the previous rally and drove well to occupy 4th at the end of day 1. Team Sassel's Riyad Jaffer and Henry Dearlove have found it going tough so far this year and even rolled down a mountain during round 3 of the championship. But so far in the Rally of South Africa, the former circuit racing driver kept it together to finish the day in 3rd. Former class champions Gugu Zulu and Carl Preskin were once again fighting for the class lead in their BP Ultimate City Golf after their teammates and current class champions Andre Kleinberg and Des de Fortier crashed out of the rally. But Zulu could do no better than 2nd at this stage of the rally. That was because Piet Bakkers and Paul van Wyk put in a blistering performance in their Komati Poort Sasol Volkswagen City Golf. Bakkers made a welcome return to Class A5 rallying and dominated both stages 2 and 3, taking nearly a minute off his rivals on the long Jessievale alone and ending day 1 with a more than comfortable 2-minute lead. Sadly, Class N3 is not well supported this season, with only 2 entries making the journey to Ermelo for the Rally of South Africa. The Ford Fiesta of Tony Barbosa and Kenny Hill survived day 1, but as on all 3 events so far this season, Class N3 was all about the Sasol Toyota Runnix of Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan. Compton is another circuit racer who made the switch to dirt road rallying, and although he has little or no competition in the class, he is impressing everyone with his speed. Compton completed day 1 in 16th position overall.
The Jessie Vale survivors return to Ermelo for a well-earned rest as day one of the demanding Rally of South Africa comes to an end. Can Toyota climb back up the leaderboard after their misfortunes of day one? Has Fecken done enough to cruise to his second victory of the season? Or will his teammate Habig be able to reel him in? The of South Africa, the day they would once again decide the outcome. Fecken was king of Jessie Vale on the day before, but is his 34-second lead enough?
We're 34 seconds ahead, which is not enough to start going slow. So we'll push hard.
Jan Habig has 10 stages, but only 100 kilometers in which to try and reel Fecken in.
Yeah, we'll go flat out, you know. It's, I think there's no team orders at this stage.
For the first time this season, Jean-Pierre Damso is still in the running after a full day's rallying.
We would just like to keep station where we're lying at the moment. If we can get those results at the end of the rally, that will be, I think, a good achievement.
On any round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship, the overnight top 8 get to choose their starting positions for day 2. The thinking is that further back will be faster.
Long left 2 opens, long and long right 3 in.
Although they relinquished their 5th position to the flying Castrol Toyota Auris, Thien Joubert and Henny Botha were more than satisfied with their progress. The Salom Group Polo was on course for a career best result and more valuable championship points in only their 4th rally in the Premier class.
We had a good run yesterday, especially in the 60k stage. Today it's tough, we're running against some big boys and trying to catch up, but now we're getting there, we're happy.
Charles Wilken and Greg Godridge started the day in 4th, but with no challenges left in the production car category, the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru could afford to take it easy without risking anything over Saturday's stages. Wilken was steady and fast, and although losing his 4th place to Mark Lanier, the Pretoria driver was happy with his progress.
In to Max right 2, and bumps Max left 2.
JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen were in a safe 3rd position overall, their best position since September last year when Damso won the Swartland Rally. The Total Evolution Toyota Ranex had no real chance of catching the 2 polos ahead of him, so the son of rally legend Serge Damso settled into a good rhythm over these 3 stages and maintained his 3rd position overall. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd had it all to do. 3rd on the overall championship points table and currently 2nd on the Rally of South Africa, but 34 seconds behind teammate Fecken. In a clean fight, 34 seconds would probably prove too much, but the 6 times champion never gives up and set off in his quest to close the gap. 34 seconds became 38 seconds after stage 4, but during stages 5 and 6, the BP Ultimate Polo chipped away at Fecken's lead and managed to reduce it to just 28 seconds. In an attempt to catch Fecken, Habig chose to run on a set of wet weather tyres, but Fecken and Aries were not in the mood to take any chances. The defending champion opted for the safer dry tyres, confident that he can defend a 34-second lead. And so far he was right, as after 3 stages that covered 37 kilometers, he only lost 6 seconds of his overnight lead.
Tightens to 5, into long right 2, opens, C100, turn acute up on the left, well in, well in.
Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson and the 3rd of the BP Ultimate Polos were on the comeback trail after losing loads of time on day 1. Keane set very fast times on these stages and managed to break back into the top 10. But how far up the leaderboard could they go?
7's caution, muddy, turn left 9. Now tightens to 7 and turn left 9, mud. Muddy, turn left, narrow, 200.
At the front of the pack, Fecken maintains his lead over teammate Habig, although the gap is slightly smaller than earlier in the day. Damso is safe in 3rd, but not within striking distance, ahead of a recovering Cronier and Wilken. The Rally of South Africa is nearing its final stages. Will Fecken defend his lead, or will the charging Habig reel him in? And around 60 kilometers of gravel road racing remain in the Rally of South Africa. Current champion Hergen Fecken is still in front, but Jan Habig is chipping away at his 28-second lead.
No, we'll just chip away at it. You know, we're not going to take too many risks.
Took the same option, took dry tyres. We only lost 6 seconds over the 3 stages, so I'm quite happy with that.
After After a 20-minute service in Punbult, the crews will head out once again to tackle 2 slippery stages on the trot. What this means is that one little mistake on stage 7 will also haunt you on stage 8, or even worse, as the cars are only carrying 1 spare wheel, changing a flat tyre on stage 7 will mean that you've got no spare wheel for stage 8. Fortunately for the crews, these 2 stages only total 20 kilometers.
Rally leaders Ficken and Aries have played it safe all the way by running on dry tyres and did the same on stages 7 and 8. Ficken still had a 28-second lead to protect, but even so, the BP Ultimate Polo set the fastest time of all in stage 7 and only lost 1 single second in stage 8, doing a fantastic job of protecting their lead.
Then C400 over flying finish. Left 3, right 4, go. Go, 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 go. C400 over flying finish, red board.
Knowing that they are quickly running out of stage distance, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd pushed hard in the second BP Ultimate Polo, but the 28-second deficit became 30 seconds again after stage 7, and although Habig won stage 8, it was only by 1 second. With no chance on improving on their 3rd position overall, JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen shifted the Total Evolution Toyota Runex into survival mode. With no points to show for 3 events, Damso was going to do whatever it takes to get to the end of this one, and they still had a 2-minute gap over 4th placed Marc Ronier. Marc Ronier and Robert Paisley have done extremely well to recover and occupy 4th after their misfortunes on day 1. The Castrol Toyota Auris completed stages 7 and 8 without any incidents and on the pace.
Left 2, into right 5. Into left 4. And left 3 into right 3 in.
5th placed Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich were within striking distance of a better placing, but the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru had more to lose than to gain. Wilken is only a few championship points away from clinching his 2nd consecutive production car championship.
80. You'll see the open left 8 in goes.
Jens Joubert and Henny Boertes were on course for their best ever finish in a national rally. The Salom Group Polo was currently in 6th position, but now had a charging Johnny Gemmell breathing down his neck. Gemmell and Peter Marsh started these 2 stages 1 minute and 15 seconds behind the Polo of Joubert, but the misfire underneath the bonnet of the Castrol Toyota Auris was now a thing of the past, and Gemmell was back up to speed. He took 10 seconds from Joubert in stage 7, and another 10 seconds on stage 8, to close the gap to 55 seconds.
Nervous moments for the remaining 24 teams as they head out into the forests for one last time. Stages 9, 10 and 11 total 37 kilometers, but are exact repeats from stages 4, 5 and 6. The sun has dried up most of the water, and the drivers now know exactly where the obstacles lie, so expect the times to be much faster than earlier in the day. For some, it is also the last real opportunity to try and influence the outcome, while for others, it's now all about survival.
Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman re-entered the event under the Super Rally rules, which allow a team who falls out on day 1 to run over the stages on day 2. It was, however, nothing more than a practice session for the Pertic Subaru, and although they set good production car times, Du Plessis still leaves Ermelo with no additional points on the board. After their retirement on day 1, Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey also decided to drive on day 2. Rueda knows the time behind the wheel of the Team Total Evolution Runex is valuable, but unfortunately for the Spaniard, he only managed 2 stages before he was forced to call it a day again. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton lost nearly 14 minutes on day 1, but they were still in the rally. The new Africa Developments Toyota Runex set competitive stage times all day and managed to claw their way back into 13th position for some consolation, but it was still a weekend to forget for the Pretoria businessmen. Sisters Lola and Megan Verlaak have only done 2 events on South African soil since swapping their production car for the faster S2000 Volkswagen Polo. Their Ermelo outing served as excellent practice for the remainder of their African Rally Championship campaign, although the siblings found the going tough. The rear window of the Polo popped out mysteriously, allowing exhaust gases to enter the cabin and leaving the sisters a little nauseated. top 10 finish on any round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship is not something to be sneezed at, especially on such a tough and demanding event like the Rally of South Africa. Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke not only survived this tough challenge, but drove superbly to bring their Class A7 Pan RC Triton Express Volkswagen Polo home in a very respectable 10th position overall. They were also the leading front-wheel drive car to reach the Ermelo finish. 9th position is unfamiliar territory for former rally champions Enzo Klein and Guy Hodgson. The BP Ultimate Polo simply lost so much time on day one due to a puncture and a wheel nut that got stuck that not even Klein could do much more than to settle for 9th. At the halfway mark in the championship, this setback realistically ends Klein's dreams of repeating his 2006 championship glory. So with nothing more to lose, we can expect to see him in full flight for the rest of the season.
Into left 3. Come on, baby. Left 3. Tightens to 6.
The unsponsored Toyota Runex of Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra had a fairly uneventful rally. Besides a puncture, a failed alternator and a broken power steering pump, Ryan drove safely and consistently to achieve his aim of finishing rallies. That's exactly what he did. He was rewarded with 8th position for his efforts. With 3 stages to go, Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh still had their sights set on the 6th position currently occupied by Ken Subban and Henny Brothers. Gemmel was leading the championship going into this event, but with his main rival leading the rally, the championship lead had nowhere to go but to slip away. The best he could do is salvage the maximum amount of points. Ubad had a 55-second lead over Gemmel, but in stage 9, the Castrol Toyota crossed the flying finish 18 seconds faster than the Salom Group Polo. Ubad fought bravely in stage 10, but couldn't stop Gemmel from crawling closer by another 13 seconds. His lead was now just 24 seconds. Ubad completed stage 11 in a time of 8 minutes and 42 seconds, but Gemmel was on a charge and went a full 23 seconds faster, reducing Ubad's lead to 1 single second. Charles Wilken and Greg Godwin do not have fond memories of this event at all. The Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru rolled on the first stage of the 2007 event, destroying the car and his chances of production car glory. Wilken has since gone on to win the production car championship, but with this category shrinking by the rally and with both Duplessis and Charles-Coetzee retiring on day 1, Wilken could only drive for a good overall position. 5th place is a good result and consolidates his 4th position on the overall championship points table. Inside the Castrol Toyota Auris, Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley were thinking of what could have been. Was it not for a small part in the gearbox that robbed them of any chance of victory and took them out of contention? Cronje will however leave Ermelo with the knowledge that he has the rally winning speed and the points on the board for a well-earned 4th position. And what a way to make a comeback after 3 successive non-finishes. JP Damse and Andre Vermeulen drove the perfect calculated rally to not only reach the end of the Rally of South Africa, but to also place the Team Total Evolution Runex on the podium. It's too late for Damse to have any championship aspirations, but a return to form bodes well for the rest of the season.
Into narrow kink, left one.
At the top, the winner of the Rally of South Africa still had to be decided. Fecken and Aries were still comfortably ahead of their BP Ultimate teammates Habig and Judd, but Habig was on a charge. So far, Habig has won 3 of the day's 5 stages, but it didn't really move him any closer. On stage 9, Fecken extended his lead by another 7 seconds. But Habig drove like a man possessed to also win stages 10 and 11. But it wasn't enough, as he only managed to reclaim 4 seconds.
There were still 2 small obstacles in the way between Fecken and the Rally of South Africa glory. After nearly 200 kilometers of gravel road racing in the forests around Warburton and Punboldt, the remaining rally crews returned to Ermelo for a final showdown. 2 runs in front of a large crowd around the specially built Ermelo Super Special stage. In previous years, the Super Special was a dusty affair, but this year, dust control experts Dust Aside joined the action by treating the entire stage with their secret formula, keeping the dust to a minimum. This was necessary as on a Super Special stage, 2 cars race each other over different loops of the same stage, often driving in their competitors and even in their own dust.
This year, the drivers could concentrate on the task at hand, and for Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh, that meant beating Ken Subban and Henny Brothers to take over 6th position. The Castrol Toyota Auris started the 2 Super Special stages just 1 second behind the Salom Group Polo, but Gemmel was just a little too strong in the air. At the front, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd threw everything they had at Fecken and Aries and went on to dominate both runs over the Ermelo Super Special. Habig even managed to take a massive 9 seconds out of Fecken's lead, but it was a little too late. The gap was simply too big and Fecken emerged victorious by 23 seconds. While Fecken was driving to protect his lead, the Gravel Road Warriors and the remaining classes were having their own battles in their respective classes. Going into the Rally of South Africa, Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee were joint leaders in South Africa's Premier Front-Wheel Drive class, Class A7. But their misfortunes on the tough day one removed them from this battle. The Motorrad Toyota Runix soldiered on during day 2, despite the broken drive shaft, and completed the Rally of South Africa in 17th position overall, good enough for 3rd in Class A7. Defending class champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis finally managed to turn their season's fortunes around. De Wit had very little time behind the wheel of his Team Total Evolution Runix so far this season, but drove well in the battle for Class A7 honours. It was also a welcome return for de Wit to the class podium, and although he missed out on the class victory, he wasn't too unhappy with his 2nd in class and a fine 11th position overall.
We've been matching the front pace all the time, but we had a few penalties in that, so we're a few seconds short.
But for the 3rd time in 2009, Class A7 belonged to the young talents of Stefan Wolken and Greg Gericke. The Pan-RC Triton Express Volkswagen Polo was once again simply too quick for their competitors, claiming a fantastic 10th position overall, and now moves one step closer to their goal of becoming Class A7 champions.
Yeah, after the last bad mishap, I'm glad to be here.
The trio of Team Total Evolution Toyotas continued their domination of Class A6 during the 2-day Rally of South Africa. Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee's consistent run came to an end when they rolled their Runix on stage 11. They got the car back on its wheels and managed to still reach the end, but nearly 14 minutes were lost, relegating Trott to a non-point scoring position. Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin continued their day 1 form by setting faster stage times and increasing their lead in the total Auris over the Runix of teammates Rodney Versach and Callan Swan. But a mysterious problem in stage 7 robbed them of more than 2 minutes and the Class A6 lead. They had no choice but to settle for 2nd.
In stage 8, the car just cut off for no reason. We had to bump out and it just died.
Musa's problems opened the door for Rodney Versach and Callan Swan to steal the Class A6 victory. Versach is one of the most consistent drivers around and rarely makes mistakes, exactly what you need to win class championships.
I think Mohammed and I are now equal on the points, so yeah, he's going to be tough.
In Class A5, former circuit racing driver Riyad Jaffer and experienced navigator Henry Dearlove finally managed to reach the end of a national rally in their Team Cecil Toyota Yaris. Cape Town youngster Ashley Hake Smith and Hilton Orphy also reached the end of a long and tough event in their Team React Toyota Yaris and just missed out on a Class A5 podium. The final step of the class podium belonged to Vusi Mabanga and Sean Fisser in their similar Total Evolution Toyota Yaris. It is Mabanga's 2nd consecutive class podium after he won the previous round, but this time he had to be content with 3rd. Piet Bacchus and Paul van Wyk drove a brilliant rally in their Komatipoort Sasol Volkswagen City Golf. On the last forest stage of the event, Bacchus still had a commanding lead over his nearest rivals, but a class victory was not to be. A wheel punctured and 2 minutes as well as the class victory was lost. So a bit of luck allowed former Class A5 champions Guga Zulu and Carl Peskin to score yet another win. The BP Ultimate City Golf of Zulu had a flawless run, and as any rally driver will tell you, when someone has a problem, you have to be there first before you can benefit from it.
Yeah, it was a tough one, you know, and my human GPS over here kept us on the road.
Class N3 goes to the rising talents of Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan and their Team Sasol Toyota Runix. Without real competition in this class, Compton has his sights set on his overall position and speed instead of class wins, and should be fairly satisfied with a fine 16th position overall.
We have to pace ourselves according to the A6 guys and sort of try and keep pace with them just to keep at the game.
Jan Habig fought hard, but it was still only good enough for 2nd, as Ergen Fecken takes his 2nd victory of the year by 23 seconds. The Damso name appears on the leaderboard for the first time this season, ahead of Mark Grenier and the first production calf, Charles Wilken. Hubert achieves a career best finish, while the Class A7 calf, Stefan Wilken, completes the top 10. Time for Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris to not only celebrate their second victory of the season, but also a return to the top of the championship points table after a fine drive.
Yeah, no, the championship is looking good. I think we're now 6 points in the lead, but it's still close, you know.
Jan Habig and Douglas Judd won 7 of the rally's 13 stages, but had to be satisfied with champagne from the second step of the podium.
A little bit disappointing that maybe we should have kicked away a bit harder, but I think second half was good and we didn't have any problems, which is more important.
And what a welcome return to the podium for JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen.
We're really happy. And now, hopefully, the next rally we can give the other guys a go, you know, for high up on the podium. And yeah, hope the rest of the season's good for us.
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich were 5th overall, but maintained their 100% winning record in the category for production cars.
Yeah, from yesterday, the class hit us self-destruct, and we just had to keep it nice and clean, and we drove a nice, steady, fast pace today. No problems with the car, and yeah, no.